So, I would like to welcome everyone to episode 1 of Flight of the Griffin, titled The Shepherd. To recap what has been going on, very briefly, you are all commissioned on board the USS Griffin, a Centaur-class ship that was decommissioned during the Dominion War and has since been brought out of retirement and retrofitted with the latest technologies. It is the pet project of one. As soon as I find my note cards, not those note cards.
The Admiral, Admiral Losselman, I think.
Of course, the second that I need them, here they are. Yeah, it was Admiral Losselman. Exactly. Thank you, Frank, for taking notes better than I do.
Yeah, names are important.
They are. You'd think I could remember them. So Admiral Munn, this is their pet project. They served on this ship before it was attacked during the Dominion War with many heavy crew casualties. And you were all chosen to go off on this mission, doing the Starfleet thing post-Dominion War, but also putting the ship through its paces. Our crew consists of let me get to this, of Lieutenant Junior Grade Tahana Seton, who was in charge of the advanced computer systems that have been installed into the Griffin. Dr. Bagels and Phlox, Lieutenant Commander and Chief Medical Officer. Probably, and you can tell me if this is wrong, Dr. Phlox, your first time as Chief Medical Officer, or have you served as Chief Medical Officer before?
This is the first time.
Got it. So yeah, first time being the head doctor. You were also, actually, no, we will get into that during play. And then Commander Hans Strohm, Chief of Security.
Yep.
We also met the other named NPCs, Commander Kassar, who is a Cation and the executive officer on board this ship, and a Andorian ensign, who is the ship's helmsperson, Ensign Tala Shivilos. You also have a Vulcan captain, whom I'm leaving deliberately vague. And yeah, you set off in search of the unknown. Your first mission was to head to a remote planetoid called Stalis II, a desolate planet with rocky mountain faces and sheer winds. Very difficult to support life. But a group of colonists have decided to set up shop on this planetoid and burrow into the planet's surface, making a better living underground. You were there to ostensibly deliver materials and expertise to get them. They've been on their feet for the better part of a year or so, but this is Starfleet helping these colonists out, in the hopes that maybe this might be a new Federation world somewhere down the line. While you were operating with the phaser drills while you were operating with the phaser drills underground, excavating new territory for a new expansion, you encountered a strange phenomenon. Like, the phaser drill suddenly stopped. Like it hit something extremely hard. And there was an injury, I think, or there was a potential injury that Dr. Phlox took care of. You noticed that it was a hard mineral substance that was shaped, like I said, kind of like a large, everlasting gobstopper. Like a couple large baseballs sort of fused together. It had a very interesting allure to it, like a very interesting, not like it was self-illuminating, but it caught the light in very reflective, very prismatic ways, very beautiful to behold. With the help of of Lieutenant Junior Grade, is it Tahana is your given name, right, or is that your family name?
The family name of my adoptive parents is Tahana.
Okay, so would you be preferred to be called Lieutenant Junior Grade Tahana or Lieutenant Junior Grade?
That's it, right.
Gotcha. Cool. So Lieutenant Junior Grade Tahana, you were able to kind of juice their sensor suite down there to allow them to continue work at a much slower pace than you otherwise would have gone. It took you a couple days to get everything in such a place where you felt comfortable leaving them. Some Starfleet personnel on board your ship stayed behind. These were not people in it for the long haul. This was part of their mission, and you were ferrying them to this colony. One such person was a geologist named Dr. Jasmine Belfont. And Dr. Belfont was told about this mineral that you had encountered, and she seemed interested in it. And on board that ship, on board your ship, she was probably the best person to put in charge of taking a look at it. She is staying behind on Stalis 2. To give you an idea, she is a non-commissioned officer. And if I could best describe her, she is a young to mid-30s human female with very dark, almost Native American dark hair and a light brown skin. She has features and a face very similar to Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. So she is staying behind to work with the colony, and you took off. It's been a few days since then, about a week since you set out from the starbase. And you've been flying around the galaxy, taking in readings, observing various phenomenon, and when we open the show, it is the morning briefing. You are in the captain's ready room. It is all senior staff, so it's all of you, chief of engineering, and yeah, a couple other people whom we will fill out later. And when the door opens up, you see that Commander Kassar is walking in, stoic, sort of ramrod stiff. He walks in with a data pad at his side, and he says, "Morning, everyone. Please take your seats. We will be getting this briefing underway." You might notice an absence. The captain has put me in charge of today's briefing. He's going to be spending a little bit of time in a sick bay. Nothing too particular, but he wanted to make sure that the reins of power were transferred, so that the ship continues to run. Are there any objections?
None for me.
Excellent.
I'm sorry to object.
Okay. Doctor, I would like you to see to it that the captain is one of your top priorities, just to make sure that everything is all right.
Of course.
Excellent. So, I want let's do morning reports from the various departments. Lieutenant Tahana, how are the computer systems operating? Have we put them through any serious strain since we've left? Lieutenant Tahana?
Hello.
Sorry, I walked away for a second. Can you repeat that?
Of course. Sorry about that. Yeah, he was basically asking for an update on the computer systems. Have they been put under any serious strain recently?
You're muted.
Yeah. Yes.
We can circle back.
All right.
Totally fine. Commander, have we decided on a regiment for the security staff?
Yeah, that was the thing I actually wanted to know.
Sorry, you're breaking up a bit.
Is this on my part? I'm not
No,
sure.
it's some feedback.
Yeah, this is on Adam's feed.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I see. Huh.
Yeah, getting a bit of a robot voice. You may want to back out and perhaps restart Discord.
Yeah, actually, that helped for me. So could rejoin. That would help.
Yeah. Let's just put a thing here.
Does he even hear us?
I can hear you guys. I'm on my phone. I'm just getting dinner ready. Sorry.
Oh,
That would do it. Okay. Copy that. Okay, so we're going to circle back
Right.
to you. So, Commander, we were talking about the training regiment, or the
Yeah.
drilling regiment.
yeah. We did have upgrades by advanced shields and some upgrades regarding our weaponry, and I would really recommend at least going through a full simulated space conflict before we get into any kind of serious thing. So we might actually need some very close to real simulation going on to get everyone in their paces and to get acquainted with the new systems.
Agreed. We'll put in a requisition order into Starfleet Command. See if we can't prepare the Griffin for some war games.
Yep.
Normally, I would say that the Hollow Suite or something similar would be more than sufficient. But if we really want to see what this ship can do, we'll have to do it. We'll have to do it for real.
Especially as we have new systems on board. Not everyone is actually very well acquainted with them.
Mm-hmm.
There's still quite a lot of feedback somewhere.
That would be Adam. Yeah, I think that's Adam's feed.
Okay.
Yeah. If he's on his phone, that's probably why. Like, because it's likely just picking up a lot of background. But anyway, so many note cards, so little time. Okay. Of course, we'll put in the requisition order to Starfleet and see what we can come back with. I don't anticipate that will be happening anytime in the near future, but we will make it a priority.
Good.
Cool. Dr. Phlox, how's the ship's how's the medical situation on board our crew? Anything to report?
Aside from the captain landing himself in sickbay, not really. No.
Yeah.
Making sure everyone's up to date on any preventative medicine, vaccines and supplements, things like that. Don't want to be showing up to anywhere and risk any kind of infection or exposure that we could have very easily prevented. Just kind of running through the typical stuff, making sure everyone's up to date on physicals and whatnot.
Cool. Or fantastic. I'd like you to produce a full rundown on the crew's current medical histories, any issues that we should know about, anything from allergies to serious injuries previously sustained. I want to have that on the captain's desk for review as soon as we can. Not a priority, obviously, but please see to it that it is done.
Will do.
Fantastic. Lieutenant Tahana, this ship is outfitted with computer systems that you are familiar with more than anybody. Can you briefly give us a summary, or can you give us a summary of how they've been performing up to date?
A lot of the ship's computer systems are specifically have been engineered specifically to be integrated with optimizing shield and warp field dynamics. We can't really easily retask them to other parts of the ship, but they are currently calculating the most optimal size for the warp field at any given time in any given measure of subspace, which allows us to have extremely efficient warp engines. The shield systems are similarly tasked with a specific computer component, which takes advantage of the most advantageous shield harmonics, giving us effectively a larger buffer against enemy attacks. In addition to that, we have other systems that have been tasked with parts of the computer. They all seem to be functioning within well within design parameters.
Would you agree that this ship's maximum speed has not been tested yet?
Theoretical maximum speed for this ship at Utopia Planitia was 9.975. We have not breached Warp 9 since leaving spacetime.
And when you say warp 9.975, you get like a bit of a hush goes over everyone that's in attendance, and the chief engineer does a whistle slightly. Well, we're not taking her out for a joyride, but I think we should put it onto the schedule, or to run the warp core, or run the ship's warp engines through its paces, and see just how fast she can really go.
I would recommend not going above warp 9.9 until we've double-checked everything. It is a new system.
Of course.
And variations in subspace might adversely affect the efficiency of the warp field.
I mean, she just got out of the garage. We don't want to ding her so soon. Duly noted, Lieutenant. Well, in case, or if there's no further business, we shall be traveling at Warp 3 to. We shall be traveling at Warp 3 to an outpost. He gives a destination. Like he's traveling at Warp 3 towards the next outpost that you will be heading towards, and that it should be smooth sailing until then. Until such point as we arrive, we are to keep stations, and we are to keep reporting in anything that is odd or unnecessary, or odd or out of the ordinary. If that is all, and before he is able to finish the sentence, a communique comes in. It's a Commander, we have a distress signal coming in. And the commander's like, take it on the bridge. Meeting is adjourned. And you exit the ready room onto the bridge. All of you have your stations set up, and... I'm sorry?
Yes. I only said yes.
Oh, sorry. So Commander
A
Kassar
life
takes second
sciences
shift.
station. I believe there's even a life sciences station if the doc wants to stay on the bridge.
Sure,
Yes, there is
why not?
there is a bridge medical station. So you stay on there. Commander Kassar takes center chair and it's like on screen. And on board the view screen, you see there is a human red-haired female in her early 40s with her hair frizzled and with a look of utter distress on her face. Behind her is a chaotic scene, and you see and hear the sound of phaser fire over her head. And you see this barely coming in staticky message that says, "Please, you have to come back and help us. Something has turned the colonists mad. They've attacked us in our sleep. We managed to make our way in and barricade ourselves into the visitor center. We have wounded, we have injured, we have casualties. Please, you must help us." Beep. And it cuts. Commander Kassar Commander Kassar says, "Ensign, where did that come from?" "It came from the colony on Stalis 2, sir." Ensign, plot in a reverse course back to Stalis 2. Yellow alert. And he says, "Warp 5. Engage." I'm not going to have the... Actually, we can do this now because the ship is going to warp. So we can test how good these engines are. So my understanding of the going to warp mechanic is we're going to roll challenge dice equal to the amount of equal to the warp that you are going. And well, first of all, we have to spend 5 power to go to warp 5, and then we can roll challenge dice equal to that, and any dice that rolls a Starfleet symbol, you get that power back. If I understand the ship's trait properly.
Yep.
Cool. Would someone like to roll for the Griffin 5 challenge dice? All right.
We save 1 power.
Yes. So the ship goes. The ship's nacelles glow, and then you slip into warp.
Just to add, you can roll challenge dice from your character sheet.
That is also true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as the ship goes into warp, Lieutenant Tahana, you see the readout coming from the engines. Warp 5 is fast. It's not the fastest you've ever seen. Like, this ship theoretically can go warp 9.975. And you see the engines respond to that sudden power consumption. On the bridge, the commander is like, "Commander Strohm, thoughts?" That was not how we left that colony at all.
Not at all. What can I make of the? We heard phaser firing. Did I register any kind of specifics? Heavy phasers, light personal phasers. They do have a different sound.
Absolutely.
Maybe I could actually make some sense out of
yes.
that.
So I would like you to give me a we'll do a reason security roll, and I'll say that your, I'll say your reconnaissance focus will apply.
All right.
Difficulty on this is
So-
going to be 1. It's not that difficult.
Okay, then let's see if I can make something out of that. Well, that's success with 1 momentum.
Okay, so you can tell these are not. This isn't Starfleet regulation phaser fire. You do know that you left Starfleet officers there, but they were all armed with their personal hand phasers. So these are the weapons that the colonists likely had. With that level of success, I'm actually going to spend a point of threat.
Momentum.
No, I'm going to spend a point of my own threat.
Ah, okay.
Let's see.
Wait, so did I get to keep my momentum from last week?
No, momentum doesn't even carry across scenes.
Yeah, it's degrading by 1 per scene, so a new session will start with 0. I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna deal my. I have to figure out how to recall 1 point at a time. So I'm going to deal myself one threat and say these are phaser type 2. Actually, what is it? It is. Yeah, these are phaser type. These are phaser type 2. They are pretty gnarly, and they're the sort of thing that only high-end officers on this ship would have, like senior level command officers would have a phaser type 2.
I was actually assuming they only have, at best, a civilian type 1 phaser, so that's a thing to be aware of. And I'm wondering how they managed to get those weapons, and it's probably not doing them any good. So they barricaded themselves, as they said, in the, where was it, in the visitor center. We probably know that. We arrived there, didn't we?
Yes. Yes. You have a pretty
So-
good idea of the layout of the entire place. The visitor center is just off of a corridor on a landing pad for shuttlecraft. Then there's another corridor that leads away from it to a building that leads down into the colony proper.
So last time we arrived per transporter, I think.
Yeah, last time you had arrived via transporter.
So I would recommend, of course, when they barricaded in the visitor center, to go there with a small team to reconnoiter a little bit and see if we need to get more people involved or if we need to evacuate whoever is there. The technical situation looks a little bit unclear. We need to do the best we can. So we need a team. They have injured, so we might need a medical team too.
Agreed. It's like, we should create we need to create an away team. Commander Strohm, you are given leave to assemble a small, it's like 5-person away team that should be more than enough to assist or evacuate any personnel on barricaded in the visitor center.
All right. And any volunteers from the medical team? I asked around.
Yeah, I'll go.
If you want to go personally, why not? I will select, let's say, 3 security personnel who are at least a little bit trained in first aid or so.
Okay, cool. So we can do Yeah, so we'll do 3 security personnel, 3 yellow shirts.
I will say, I don't know, like, I'll try and maybe speak up. Commander, I do have background in security, computer systems, and medicine. I did pass first aid in Starfleet.
Maybe you could actually help establishing a better communication basis. We had lots of static, and if there's something interfering, we might need a technician too.
Cool. All right. Let me actually get so yeah, so it'd be you 3 security personnel, Dr. Phlox, and Lieutenant Tahana.
So we're taking 6.
Sure.
Okay.
Why the hell not? The Commander Kassar is going to stay on the bridge to keep everything running smoothly. And so
Yeah,
it's going to take you a few hours to arrive back to Stalis 2 at this current speed.
Yeah, in preparation of that, I might recommend everyone getting at least a phaser type 2, because they were firing similar weapons, and we don't know what we might actually face regarding opposition, or maybe even some distressed settlers firing on us. We don't know.
Makes sense. So how does the
Type 2 phaser is not part of my normal loadout, so I don't know how much threat that gives the GM.
see for the security officers, they would have phaser type 2s, so it doesn't take anything from them, or so it doesn't cost threat to give them a phaser type 2.
Yeah, but my recommendation was everyone better
Right.
being armed. So, yeah, even if that raises the threat, it's probably a better thing to do.
Cool. So if there's, I'm trying to find it quickly, but you know what? I'll say that for a threat, because I have 6. Actually, if I could get 2 threat, you can have a phaser type 2.
Yeah, why not?
Cool. So I'll give myself 2 more threat.
And as they had some static going on, maybe some tools or some repeater or so that might actually establish a better communication. We should take with us.
I'll grab an engineering kit and an engineering tricorder.
Cool.
It says.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Never mind. I was trying to figure out the cost of Type 2 phasers.
Was that the threat you gave yourself? Was that for both of us, or just for one phaser type 2?
I'll say that is for both. One threat for each of you.
Okay. The reason I ask is because my standard kit is a phaser type 2.
Then okay. Then I will take one away. All right. Cool. So, is there anything else that you want to do before you arrive?
We did have the schematics of the settlement there. So the visitor center and some of the tunnels and so on, because we already knew this place. Mm-hmm. So I might actually have those available for everyone and brief the security personnel what they actually might get regarding cover or so, because they barricaded themselves there. So we need to know the surroundings. So whatever we had as information, I will brief them on
Okay.
that.
Cool. Let's do this as a momentum or as a as a roll. Give me another. I'll say this is. Yeah, we'll make this another reasons security check, and I'm gonna say, yeah, I'll say that reconnaissance would also apply here. You are gathering information in
Yep.
a tactical sense.
Yep. All right. Difficulty.
Difficulty, same one. It's not that
Okay.
difficult to do this.
Okay. So let's see. That one. Okay. Yeah, that's successful, but no extra momentum.
Right. Cool. So yeah, from what you could tell, the barricade that was set up was a makeshift, like thrown together, last minute Les Miserables barricade. Whatever that wasn't nailed down was thrown up as quickly as humanly possible. It will provide adequate cover, so much so that if you do take cover behind it, I would give you 2 cover dice. If you were to, if someone were to take cover behind it. Tactically, you think that their position, if everything is as it is said to be, then their position is defensible but not for long, because there is one point there's only one point that they can be attacked from. So they're well defended for right now, but if they are dealing with wounded, if they're dealing with dead, then a strong enough force could potentially overrun them.
Good to know. So I will tell everyone what they need to know. The weak spots, and of course the cover. You might actually need the cover to recover yourself if you might get shot at. So be mindful of the cover. Always seek to find cover if the enemy has some phasers available. All right. So I think we are as well prepared as we ever get.
Mm-hmm. All right. Is there? Yeah. So if nobody has any other objections, I am going to say that we are going to fast forward to the arrival at Stalis 2.
Okay.
Cool. We're going to call this a new scene, so the momentum that you generated goes away.
Yep.
When you come out of warp, the ship is still at yellow alert, which is standard procedure when you're responding to a distress call. When you arrive, there is a Commander Kassar orders a general scan of the planet. So, if we'll say that the ensign shall make that roll. I don't have the ensign's character sheet loaded up, but I do have dice, so I will let you know what I get. So we'll say this is going to be a control con. Okay, so I put the difficulty on this at 1 to scan the environment. Her target number was 12. She rolled an 11 and a 1, so you get 2 momentum. She crits on it.
Okay, should we keep that somewhere at one of our characters? I keep that, and if you want that, I can drop it again.
I'll deal 1 card to... Oh, let me take that back then. I shall steal that card.
Could we spend that for more information?
Basically, what she finds is there is a storm going on right now.
Okay.
Come on. Whoop. I'm out of the game. There's a storm going on right now that is going to be making is going to make transportation a little difficult.
Do you suggest we should go there using a shuttle, or is it still viable?
It is doable.
Okay.
If you want, yeah, like she basically says that transportation is possible, but is going to be quite difficult. I don't know if I would recommend it, Commander.
All right.
Can we get
Then
if we need to evacuate the population, may I suggest we get some pattern enhancers loaded into a shuttle?
good idea. Are we allowed to take a shuttle? I ask our XO because we need permission to take a shuttle now.
Permission granted. Take one out of the hangars. Prepare for possible evacuation.
All right.
So I don't know how much opportunity relates to threat, but pattern enhancers I just looked up have a opportunity of 1.
Well, let me briefly take a look at that. The opportunity rules are one of the ones I'm less familiar with, so let's just see.
Yeah, they do have some kind of restriction, so that's
184.
usually kind of roll, and then opportunity cost. It's a little bit complicated, I find.
Yeah. Yeah. If the situation is not time sensitive, the characters can take items beyond, must retrieve them from storage, replicate them, or spend a little time. If it's not time sensitive, this can be done freely. If it is time sensitive, then they must spend momentum in order to get them. This is an opportunity cost. So
we have 2 momentum, so if we spend 1, we have pattern enhancers.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you spend one of the momentum that was generated, you can get the pattern enhancers, which will be a way to that's to help with potential transport, right?
Yeah.
We're just gonna pull a Voyager and leave our destroyed shuttle on the surface. I'm calling it now.
Yeah. So do you spend the momentum? You have one point left.
I think we have 2 points of group momentum. So
Yeah. I have one. You have one on your character here. Spend one. I could spend that too, of course.
Yeah.
So let me drop that.
Sweet.
So we have one group momentum left.
Yep. Excellent. So yeah, if you want to take a shuttle roundabout shuttle, or a runabout shuttle, you can absolutely do that and head down to the planet's surface. Are any of you really good at flying it, or do you need to? Or do you?
What do we need to?
Yeah.
What do we need to fly that?
It would be a. Let's see. That would be a control. It'd be a control con roll.
Definitely
I'm not that
me.
bad.
mine's 10.
I have 11 plus 3. That's 14.
14. That's not bad. So yeah, if you wanted to make the fly down, you absolutely could. Or if you wanted to grab a con officer that could stay behind on it, absolutely.
I think we should pull the Star Trek thing and just definitely have the main cast do everything, always, forever.
Sure, I'm down with that.
I will. If the commander wants, I will be co-pilot.
Oh yeah. So you would assist on that one. Does the shuttle give any assisting dice like the main ship? I don't think so.
Probably not. I'm going to rule in this case no. I'm trying to very quickly trying to find shuttles, but
Yeah.
as much as I love this core rule book, it is laid out, I feel, very poorly.
Would I be able to use my advisor talent here?
Okay, your advisor talent, if I remember that correctly. I'm almost at the talents. Court martial, what is that? When you assist another character using your command discipline, the character may re-roll 1d20. Since you're probably not going to be assisting using command, it's a pure piloting check. You're not going to be able to help with that.
Damn.
Yeah, definitely keep that in mind though, because it's very helpful.
Oh yeah.
Gonna have to be using my first response talent here in a little bit.
Yeah, and also you're likely going to have to be giving. You're going to have to be commanding people in order to really use that. So, okay, yeah, shuttlecraft, I've got the, yeah. Okay, so the shuttlecraft holds a crew complement of 1 or 2 plus 6 passengers.
Okay.
So, that means it could hold all of you and maybe a few extra people. If you had, yeah.
Yeah, the extra security goons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that'll get you down. Using it if you were to attempt an evacuation, you're going to be making many, 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 many trips if you were to use the shuttle in that way.
Yeah, we need to get the transporter fixed in a way that this will work.
Cool. All right. So, as we set this up, you are down at the Griffin's shuttle bay. There's a con officer there that's making sure that everything's set up and the shuttle's ready to fly. There's like yellow lights flashing around. Do we have a name for this shuttlecraft?
So I like the thing they do in Lower Decks, where each shuttlecraft is named after something related to the ship.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, maybe names of specific mythological creatures.
Okay. Yeah, I could get down with that. So the first thing that came to mind was the Kraken, but that's just where my brain goes.
Right. Kraken's not bad.
Nessie?
There's Grendel. Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah, that's more a person than something else.
He's a weird fairy.
Yeah. I really like Rumpelstiltskin because it almost takes up the entire length of the shuttlecraft.
All right.
You really want to name it Rumpelstiltskin?
Rumpelstiltskin.
How many umlauts does that have?
Actually, none.
None? Okay. That's just his name in German?
Yeah. Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah. Post that in the Discord because I want to make that canon.
Good. All right. Let's see.
Because I don't trust myself to spell it properly.
I don't know if I could even spell Rumpelstiltskin.
Rumpelstiltskin. Perfect. Love it. So let it be done that the shuttlecraft Rumpelstiltskin is prepped and ready to fly. So, standing by as you arrive are 3 security personnel armed with their Type 2 phasers. 2 of them are Two of them are human. One of them is a Bolian.
What? I didn't get it.
Two of them are human.
Bolian.
One is a Bolian.
We have one of the bald blue people with us.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
I probably know their crew, their personal manifesto, what they are capable of, and so on. So, yeah, let's start.
Okay. So you load up, and the con officer gives you clearance, and the section or the shuttle bay decompresses, and the doors open up, and the ship is allowed to float out into space. So, Commander Strohm, at the helm, as you let the ship clear the USS Griffin, you take the helm, and you
right.
see yourself piloting, or you point it down towards the planet. You can see the storm system that is gathered over where the colony is. It's going to be a bumpy ride. So I'm going to say, if we do this, you're going to be making this is a control con roll, in which Lieutenant Tahana can absolutely assist.
Oh yeah, and we have one momentum left. I might
You do
actually
have one
use.
left if you want to buy an extra die.
Yeah, I spent
going to
the momentum for an extra die.
Sweet. I'm going to say this is going to be. It would normally be a difficulty 2, but because of the storm, I'm bumping it up to a difficulty 3. And because I
All
have
right. Then I not only. Yeah.
Because I have Boku threat, I'm going to spend a point of threat to increase the complication range up to 19 and 20.
Okay. So I mark the 2 on the complication range thing. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. As it is a difficulty 3, that's quite a bit more complicated and more difficult if you don't have any focus. I actually not only spent the momentum, you can actually get 2 threat on top of that for an additional die.
I shall give myself 2 extra threat. Thank you.
Yep. And of course, I need the assistance, of course,
Yes.
from the co-pilot.
And yes. And now
Very
before
good.
we,
And because I'm a Cardassian and I have duty and discipline, if you succeed, you get a momentum.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so he gets 1.
All right.
I will say, also, just as a general rule, you can always, before the die roll happens, invoke success at cost. If it's like, I would rather not spin this shuttlecraft out and potentially like crash into the side of a mountain, you can invoke success at cost. But you do have Tahana to help you out. I'll
Yep.
say, Tahana, your character... Unfortunately, none of your focuses, from what I can see, apply.
Definitely no.
So yeah, this is going to be a little tough.
Yeah. So I don't have any focus regarding piloting of anything. So let's hope the dice are with me, and yeah, that's the best we can do. So
Okay.
I roll it.
I
Gotcha.
believe.
That looks
Yeah!
good.
There it is.
That looks good.
Okay. you
So
get
we
one
have
momentum
in
back.
total, we needed 3 successes. We have 4, so that's success with 1 momentum, and I get 1 bonus momentum from Tahana because of his special ability.
I'll deal 2 of those to myself. The momentum pool, the momentum pool should now stand at 2.
2? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Great. So, yeah, like I said, it is a bumpy ride getting this ship all the way down. And everyone that's in there, you see this in like any war movie that has a helicopter scene. Like they're hanging onto the side, they're getting thrown around. But you are eventually able to break Atmo, and you see the lights of the landing pad underneath you. Guiding the ship down is way easier than like breaking through the atmosphere and getting through the storm. And when you touch down, yeah, you can see there are inclement weather warnings, high wind warnings, light up the shuttlecraft. You get a ton of warning, like danger, high wind in your area. Please use caution. And
okay. How do we get inside? I'd like to land the shuttle very close, so that we don't have to run through the storm.
yeah, um, I'll say that you're able to get as close as humanly possible without scraping the side of the visitor center, especially with that roll. Um, I can just see like Lieutenant Tahana like furiously trying to balance and keep you on course. And because of that assist, you're able to get as close as you possibly can. You will still have to run out, but you're not going to have to jog across a football pitch in order to get inside. It'll be like you'll probably have an exposure of a few seconds. Think like running to your front door out of the car in the rain.
All right, we do have two personnel who are not very physically, let's say, trained, I think. So let's do it that way. Two security, take one of those in the middle, and we run in groups of three.
All right.
Before we exit the shuttlecraft, what kind of storm is this? Is this like a tornado? Is it an electrical storm?
Let's see. It is. Yeah.
Probably
it
should
is
have asked
a-
this before
yeah.
we left the ship.
Yeah, it is a. It's not an electrical storm. It is more of a tornado.
Okay.
Yeah. The hardest part to deal with are the high winds, and you know from your research, or at least the data that you were able to gather from Stalis 2 when you first got here, is the planet does have a volatile atmosphere. Storms are not uncommon around here. This is a particularly nasty one.
I'm going to hand the pattern enhancers to somebody who's probably pretty fit. I don't know, I only have a fitness of 9.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get ready to run.
Yeah. I will also note that you have not made contact with the colony since you got that distress message.
I'm assuming we tried and they just haven't responded.
We'll say that you have been trying to hail them, but it hasn't gotten through. You are planet side now. If you wanted to attempt to make contact, you absolutely could. Or if you just wanted to head inside, you could do that too.
Yeah, let's contact them first, not that they shoot at us.
Cool. So, using the onboard con, you open up a hailing frequency, and sure enough, it does get through. You can see the violence that was permissive in the distress call is no longer present. It's a much different feel and tone, and you can see the same human female picks up. It's like, hello?
Hello. Commander Strohm from the Griffin. You hailed us with a distress call.
Oh, you're with Starfleet.
Yes,
Oh,
we just landed here on your landing strip. We want to come inside. Please don't shoot us.
okay. Yeah, um, the the uh, the the rear exit, or the primary exit out to the landing pad. She goes. That that should be left open for you. If you rush inside, the storm shouldn't be too bad for you. Just please get in there. We need all the help that we can get.
We'll do just that. We'll be there in a minute.
Thank you. And and the signal cuts.
I will.
All right.
I'll see about. I don't know. How long would it take me to set up the shuttle as like a relay so that we could use the communications on site to maybe the more powerful communications in the shuttle to be able to talk to the Griffin?
Are we talking about purely communications?
Yeah, just communications.
It would probably take you. I'd say that sort of jerry rig would probably take you around 10 minutes. It would just be it'd be a simple roll.
All right, I don't think we have time for that.
It's up to you. You also don't have to leave right this second. Like you could
Yeah.
stand by and go in wave 2.
You know, if you find this a good idea, and I do too, let's do it.
All right, I'm going to make a reason and engineering roll.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming, does improvisation apply?
It does. I'm going to set the difficulty at. I'll set the difficulty at 1.
Okay.
This isn't. This is well within Lieutenant Tahana's wheelhouse.
Alrighty. I'll start working on this while Wave 1 goes in and gets things set up.
Okay. So who wants to be in, or who among the party wants to be in Wave 1?
Yeah, I'd say as you take a little bit more time here, you're automatically in wave 2. So
I think I
first
should
group
be.
should take the other non-trained and the security man.
Okay. So I'm assuming that it's going to be you, Commander Strohm, one of the security personnel, and then Dr. Phlox.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, one of the human security personnel breaks off, and when the door opens up, the wind rushes right in. It's not enough to threaten to knock the shuttlecraft off, but it's a huge pressure change. Running to the other side and getting in is no big deal. It's just slightly unpleasant. Now, when you make it inside, you remember this visitor center from when you showed up. You originally had to beam in last time. This was a very nice place to be. I remember it being kind of airport, very airport-like. You know, pleasant blue light, artwork hanging up onto the walls, benches, very clean. Yeah, a nice place to be. Right now, it looks like a refugee camp. Anything that isn't nailed down has been set up at the makeshift barricade on the other side of the visitor center. You can see there are a couple dozen people standing in the visitor center in various stages of distress. Among them, you can see a handful of Starfleet officers that have been. Sorry. Yeah. Among them, you can see a handful of Starfleet officers clearly not trained to be doing what they are doing, but basically offering triage, like helping the wounded. You actually see one Starfleet personnel has suffered a phaser wound that is being treated. Everybody who is capable and able to is holding a weapon and is sort of offering patrol. You can see a few people at the barricade. And then you see other things like little kids walking around kind of in a daze. Like there's this one little girl with a teddy bear dragging behind her, clearly like, what the hell is going on? And as soon as you enter in, the red-haired human female approaches you and says, oh, thank heavens you are here. She reaches out to shake your hand. Commander, she's in civilian clothing. She is not Starfleet. She introduces...
Right. Let's introduce ourselves.
Okay.
I'm Commander Strohm. Who are you?
My name's Sarah. Sarah Shipley.
All right. What's your function in this colony?
I was primarily about I'm an artist. Like I came here to like see if I could find inspiration out here, and it's been a beautiful place. It's been a beautiful place to live, but last night something happened, and half the colony turned on us.
That sounds like something more of a psychology thing that happened, or did you encounter any kind of agent, maybe some gas or something like that?
I don't know. It all, everything just happened so fast. We were at an event. We were unveiling a new installation, a new sculpture, and everything was great. It was fine. There was a party, and then it all went to hell that fast. Thank you,
right.
Thank you, Commander Strohm. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'd say for this first wave, I took Jamil Horn with me, and Logan Emodine and Trent Morris for the second wave.
Cool. We'll say the one that went with you is a lieutenant junior grade, and the other two are ensigns.
Right.
Cool. Yeah, she's like, I don't know what happened. I don't know. We were attacked suddenly. We put up like we're not fighters. We're just simple people, and we fell back and we made it here. We've lost a lot of people down there, and I don't know. I think,
for simple people, you do have quite heavy weaponry with you.
I mean, yeah, space is dangerous. I don't have I have, and you can actually see that at her side is a Type 1 phaser.
All right. So I'd say let's let the doctor do his thing. You do have some injured people, so maybe they need immediate medical attention. On the other hand, I'd like to contact other Starfleet personnel that's available here, and I'd say, Lieutenant Horn, could you secure the barricade? Check the barricade if they are still available, or give enough cover, or if we need to do something.
Aye, sir.
All right.
So yeah, so Lieutenant Horn unsheaths looses his hand phaser and steps up to the barricade. There are 3 other people here manning the barricade with him. And yeah, you count there's about 40 people here, not including you.
How many children?
We'll say 8 of those are children.
Right. So, Doctor, what do you think?
I think we
Cool.
need to
So
get
before
started on.
Dr.
Oh.
Phlox, before you roll, I want to cut back to the Rumpelstiltskin. And Lieutenant Tahana, you can make that engineering roll.
I have a question. I have computer expertise, which gives me an extra die specifically where the exact wording is.
I'll find it.
Whenever you attempt a task that involves programming or the study of a computer system, you may add a bonus d20 to your roll.
I will allow that. Like, this is technically more hardware than it is software, at least in my opinion, because you're trying to you're trying to do stuff with the hardware. But I'll let it slide.
Wow,
Ooh.
I got a success.
Yeah, good for the bonus die.
And I think it was a difficulty 1, right? It wasn't that difficult.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Cool. So you nail it. So what I will allow is this is successful, and what you're able to do is you're able to get a relay, or you're able to boost communications back up to the Griffin. Now, this will permit, like, I'm going to bend the rules slightly. So we'll say that this is on the table, and if you ever want to use the create an advantage momentum spend, normally it costs 2, but because of this successful roll, I will reduce the cost down to 1.
Oh, do it. That's very good. Do it.
So, if I spend a momentum, I can...
So you're basically going to change the narrative slightly. So you're creating something that's advantageous to you, which this roll effectively allowed you to do.
So
now
I spend a momentum and create the advantage communications reestablished?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically you are going to have clear communications. Come on. You're going to have clear communications to the Griffin, and you are not going to have to be, at least communications wise, you're not going to have to worry about the storm or anything like that. You can get the Griffin at a moment's notice.
All right, and then I will run inside.
Cool. So the second the second wave goes in. That is Ensign Logan and Ensign Morris, plus Lieutenant Junior Grade Tahana. You all rush inside and you see the scene that was described. These are about 40 people or so, kind of in shock, having to run and fight for their lives. And yeah, you see they're all spread out. Anybody who's capable is either patrolling, holding a phaser, or trying to tend to someone who is wounded. You can also see young people talking to children who are clearly not theirs, trying their best to comfort them.
Well, that is definitely not in Tahana's wheelhouse. I'm going to start setting up the pattern enhancers.
Excellent. Yeah.
Unless a superior officer tells me otherwise.
No.
That's actually the plan.
Yeah. Yeah, without rolling for it, you know that this shuttle's not going to be able to evacuate all of these people effectively. Cool.
All right,
So,
I'm going to see... Yeah, I'm just going to start setting up the pattern enhancers.
Okay. Cool. So, yeah, the ensigns will cover you, basically, while you set up the pattern enhancers. And the constant communication with the Griffin absolutely helps with this. So you're able to establish a clear pattern, and yeah, that's going to make your life way easier coming up. Pardon me, Dr. Phlox. You had something you wanted to take care of.
Yeah, taking care of all the people who've been injured and, helping to...
Dr. Phlox? Dr. Phlox, you are muted.
My bad. Making sure to take care of all the people who've been injured thus far.
Cool. I'm actually going to post something into the Discord just because it's available, so you might as well have access to it. And so yeah, I'd say there's a handful of people who are suffering various injuries, and you can see there's about 6 dead that have been respectfully laid to one side.
Do I need to perform autopsies?
That's up to you. If you wanted to like take a look and see what may have caused, if you wanted to like give them a look-see and see if you could determine cause of death, you could totally do that.
Would it help us in finding out why we had this uprising or whatever we'd call it?
If you wanted to make a medical tricorder check, you could absolutely do that.
Let's
Mhm.
Yeah, let's give that a go.
Cool. So you've got your medical tricorder.
Yeah.
You can examine a corpse of an older man, balding with a Hulk Hogan handlebar mustache.
Nice.
Yeah. You can examine him and see if you can determine a cause of death. I'm going to say that. Let's do it this way. Determining cause of death is going to be simple. You will get some information no matter what. If you want to get a really detailed medical tricorder scan, the difficulty on that is going to be 3.
Let's do the simple one here.
Okay. So you do a very general medical tricorder scan, and yeah, it's clearly obvious he was hit by phaser fire.
Okay. Can we do a basic brain scan to see if there were any anomalies there?
You could do a brain scan. I would still set the get difficult. Actually, let me
Just
see
talking
if
like
there's
basic brain scan here to see if there was